In the sanctuary of self-reflection, one may ponder, why is it so challenging to overcome bad habits and nurture virtuous ones? And in that instant of truthful vulnerability, we recognize a universal truth. The human struggle to better ourselves is fraught with stumbles. The vices clinging to us began as whispers of comfort, quick alleviations of deeper distress. Deceptively harmless at first, yet cunning in how they take root before we realize their entanglement in our existence. Extracting them then feels like tearing out a part of oneself. Adopting positive habits mirrors tending a garden in cold soil, toilsome work. We sow the seeds of change and ambition, but too often are disheartened by their refusal to sprout. Despite attentive nurturing, those seeds of a better future seem not to flourish. Such apparent barrenness of effort exacts a toll on inspiration. Yet herein lies an obscured but crucial insight. Futility is not the end. Rather, it forms an integral step in the journey. With every fall then ascent, progress accumulates. From each collapse we learn the cause of stumbling, and thus adapt to avoid repeating the same. Consider how many times before the first steps, how many falls precede walking. Temporary defeat represents payment of tuition critical for growth, agonizing yet invaluable. Revel in wearing those battle scars as proof of daring greatly in betterment's pursuit. In this age drunk on instant delight and swarming with diversions, practicing self-restraint is a discipline drifting out of grasp for many, though its necessity never more dire. Discipline serves as the channel linking objectives and their achievement, the invisible wire mesh that shapes the relief of lasting feats. Nowadays, we contend with an unending barrage of disruptions, perpetually pinging phones, the magnetism of social platforms, the mounting weight to remain connected online. Retaining focus resembles sailing through a typhoon. Still, it is within the storm that discipline stands out as more than a skill, a superpower. Think of star athletes, for every second bathing in the stadium's glow, nameless hours past training, often in the stillness of dawn, as the wider world yet dreams. Consider prolific painters and authors whose creations blossom only after wrestling with the disorder of untamed invention. To practice self-restraint requires more than easy repetition. It entails daily choosing the harder path, rising early for a run while comfort keeps others in bed, studying when screens beckon attention, consciously laboring upon one's project despite measurable progress inchworm slow. Discipline signifies a pact with self, the inner voice reminding of purpose when surroundings summon immediate pleasure. Yes, there will be instances of buckling under cravings of convenience as discipline calls for grueling persistence, not perfection. Each erecting after lapses, reorienting the inner compass to march onward, represents another brick lane for who you strive to manifest. During times of weariness, recall discipline as a personal odyssey of self-creation, granting power to transform present bounds and shape destinies by strength of will. Here we explore 5 tips grounded in Stoic ideals for cultivating discipline to conquer vice and nurture virtue. The initial step calls for delineating guiding principles, the foundation for discipline's fortress. An undertaking of gravity, for these tenets constitute the bedrock of determined character. It demands exploration into values, questioning sincerely what standards to live by, and aims to channel efforts toward through discipline's sieve. Whether adopting the 4 Stoic virtues, practical wisdom, courage, fairness, and self-control, or personal credos speaking to your distinct aspirations, etching these firmly into consciousness proves paramount. Once your pillars stand clearly defined, commitment must follow to aligning actions daily to these chosen guidelines. Here discipline's seeds truly take root. Declaring principles means little without testing through the mundane repetitions of life when ease beckons seductively. Stoics derive routine strength from adhering to their philosophy. Each choice becomes a vote towards your envisioned identity. Thus, discipline takes shape not through sporadic deeds but consistent acts. The strain of early meditation despite bed's warmth, truth-telling when life's convenience, persisting through self-doubt and failure's dismay. Though rewards for such harmony between beliefs and behavior may not swiftly blossom, the modern hunger for instant results only imperils progress authenticity. Stoic discipline turns its back on fleeting gratification, instead nurturing slowly the crops of self-command that shall endure famine and storm alike. One brick laid steadfastly upon the next evolves gradually into an impenetrable barricade against temptation's siege. To align words with actions demands honesty regarding true motivations, why you seek discipline and what function it shall serve in your life. Understanding these clearly is crucial. Discipline for its own sake tends towards rigidity and repression, likely cracking under strain. Instead, it grows sure-footed when nurturing virtues and values aligned closely to your being. When embarking each new sunrise, consider clarifying intentions through quiet contemplation, harnessing the dawn's energy to steer deliberately the voyage ahead. The soft light and silence before clamor creeps in offers a lucid space to define the day's aims with vivid clarity. Here, discipline ripens by engaging in wordless dialogue with the self, questioning which principles shall guide, what virtues to embody in the hours forthcoming. By crystallizing aspirations thusly, when the sun breaches the horizon, aligning conduct to match, commitment becomes viable. Allow this ritual, not mere routine, to attune actions resonant with growth's calling, the dedication upholding values amid turbulence, concentration upon priorities despite distraction. Affirming purpose and direction early cast discipline as a compass to navigate all that unfolds thereafter. In pursuing self-restraint, patterns enable progress, scaffolding supporting reach beyond seeming limits. Constructing personal routines lays a foundation and fortress, both for conquering the unpredictability of life's waves. Far more than simply sequences habituated, they constitute pacts with self-pronounced through deeds, asserting mastery over how time and energies get channeled, rather than allow external chaos reign. To outline consistent structures earns the privilege of commanding dawn and dusk's arrival with intended order, activities harmonized to express one's deepest aspirations. Sheltering meditation's tranquility to greet each day, committing focus amid afternoon's momentum, or reserving evenings for reflective solitude. Upholding such frameworks, especially against resistance, builds resilience through repetition. Challenges will amass, strain and duties risk buckling intentions. Yet discipline's firm anchor stabilizes against stormy overwhelm. Power lies not in inflexibility, but upholding the routine spirit when conditions force adaptation. Bending differs from breaking. Acknowledging temporary adjustments often proves crucial to reconstitute equilibrium. On days which vulnerability or obligations weigh heavy, the forms stand as trusted guides back to purpose once lost temporarily amidst fog. During these trials, perhaps more than calm periods, resilient habits cement, integrating more firmly into muscle and bone memory. Progress also relies on concentrating energies upon what lies within reach, dismissing what exceeds control. Most events unfold their way no matter human dictates, while actions of others follow individual nature. To obsess over what ignores our grasp risks spirit-draining futility. Building discipline instead requires withdrawing focus beyond our influence, not permitting online notifications to dictate attention's flow, refusing societal pressures defining self-judgment. Such discipline counters flood of input with deliberate questioning. Is this within my hand's alterable grasp? If not, the art of release must be mastered. Letting go signals not apathy but strategic stress conservation for worthwhile battles we can sway through will measured and steadfast. Challenges met at the frontier of current capacity strengthen discipline's reservoir. Attempts at what lies far beyond mostly deplete. Choosing intentionally where to invest scarce motivation generates the fertile soil enabling disciplined habits' roots to delve ever deeper. Here efforts align to echo loudest values and access higher reaches of human potential. Great journeys such as these charted into self-mastery acquire acceleration and direction through periodically taking stock of how far run. As clamor diminishes into evening's arms, reflection ripens, appraising milestones scaled, intents upheld, and those regretfully bent. Even tiny increments of progress warrant approval when made conscious. From tasks finished to cravings subdued, each choice, honoring discipline's call, acknowledges the incremental work of change while illuminating next steps ahead. Missteps transform through non-judgmental eyes not into failures shriveling resolve, but as teachers revealing where alignment faltered and how to nurture truer to the marrow. Such nightly rhythms of celebrating discipline's fruits and excavating wisdom, from its setbacks renders every sunset and dawn opportunities to rededicate along the way. Pausing on the journey at this moment to consciously reflect, how may the principles of Stoicism take form to strengthen discipline within your life? What specific actions or perspectives might bolster the commitments defining who you strive to become?